Commander Zor of the Galactic Assessment Fleet stared at the swirling blue and green planet on the view screen and let out an exaggerated sigh. Another day, another primitive world to catalog, he muttered, drumming 4 fingers impatiently against the command console. Remind me again why we're wasting resources on this mudball, he asked, not bothering to mask his disdain. Lieutenant Plex looked up from her terminal. Standard protocol, Commander. Any species exhibiting rudimentary space capabilities must be assessed for potential threat level. Zor barked out a laugh that echoed through the bridge. Threat? Look at them. Their ships can barely reach their own moon. Their radio signals are leaking like a broken Blu-ray bladder. And their nuclear weapons? Child's play against our shields. Nevertheless, Commander, Plex replied evenly, the Galactic Council requires. Yes, I know, Zor waved dismissively. Run the tests, file the report, move on to something that actually matters. The bridge crew exchanged knowing glances. Zor had made his feelings on assessment missions clear, he preferred combat, not surveys. Begin standard protocols, Zor grumbled, slumping into his gravity chair. Let's get this over with. Captain Mira, the tactical officer, cleared her throat. Sir, preliminary scans indicate the species calls itself humans. They're divided into competing factions despite being genetically identical. Fascinating. Zor snorted. More like inefficient. Threat assessment. Level 2, Mira replied. Nuclear capability, limited space travel. Some potential to damage scout vessels, but no real threat to the main fleet. Zor nodded. Standard procedure. Deploy observer drones, monitor their moon, and prepare test scenarios 1 through 5. Scenario 5, sir. Plex asked with concern. That's the simulated invasion. Is that necessary? Zor leaned forward, grinning. The Council wants thorough assessments. Let's be thorough. Their response to an invasion will tell us everything. Setting up all test scenarios, Mira confirmed, though her furrowed brow suggested unease. Excellent, Zor said, standing and stretching. Wake me when the data starts rolling in. This shouldn't take more than a planetary rotation. As Zor left, Plex leaned toward Mira. He's being reckless. We should start lower. Mira sighed. Orders are orders. But I agree. These humans, they worry me. 3 Earth days later, Commander Zor wasn't bored. He was bewildered. Say that again, he snapped, staring at the floating data projections. Science Officer Jax adjusted his ocular enhancers. They're responding strangely. Scenario 1, communications disruption, they adapted. Quickly. Backup systems came online in hours. Some networks were completely unaffected. Zor frowned. Prepared? Yes. Emergency systems functioned smoothly. Even military comms were intact. Mira added, in Scenario 2. Tectonic manipulations, their response was immediate. Casualties under 2%. That's unheard of for a Level 2 species. Zor's expression darkened. And Scenario 3? Plex pulled up new data. Biological agent release. They identified the pathogen in 48 hours. Countermeasures were in development by 72. That's unprecedented, Zor admitted. They're resilient. But are they a threat? In Scenario 4, Jax continued, we induced artificial resource shortages. Not only did they adapt, but several research centers developed alternative tech. Their innovation rate under pressure is alarming. Zor paced. Primitives don't innovate like that. They also disabled 3 of our monitoring drones, Mira added. Zor stopped in his tracks. How? We're not sure, said Jax. But they reverse-engineered parts of our tech. Captain, we must delay Scenario 5. Objection noted, Zor growled. Denied. These strange results make it even more important. Deploy Scenario 5. Begin with shock and awe. Let's test their mettle. What followed was chaos. This was a mistake, Mira said flatly as the bridge erupted with emergency alerts. Zor watched the casualty feeds in stunned silence. They're shooting down our dropships? With modified missiles? Yes, Jax replied grimly. They've studied our drone tech. Reverse-engineered shielding vulnerabilities. That's impossible. Apparently no one told them, Plex said dryly. Zor barked, status on ground forces. Tactical Officer Bren spoke softly. North America and Europe, 60% lost contact. Asia, heavy resistance. Australia, surrounded by civilian militias using hybrid weapons. Hybrid? They're combining our tech with theirs. Improvised but effective. Another explosion rocked the command deck. Captain? Zor demanded. Nuclear strikes, sir, Mira said. Modified warheads generating pulses tuned to our shield frequencies. Zor stared at her. How are they targeting us? They've hacked our own navigation beacons, Jax said quietly. No species at their level should be capable of that. Well, these humans are. The ship AI spoke calmly, warning. Incoming projectiles. Impact in 30 seconds. Evasive maneuvers. Sir, the NAV officer said, panicked. They've predicted our patterns. They're using our own algorithms. For the first time in his life, Zor felt fear. Begin full retreat. Evacuate ground teams. As orders flew across the bridge, Plex approached. Sir, we intercepted something disturbing. A captured human soldier said before escaping, thanks for the tech upgrade. See you at home. Another explosion. They've taken 3 of our ships, the NAV officer shouted. Studying propulsion systems. Accelerate retreat, Zor barked. We must warn the Council. As the crippled fleet limped from Earth's orbit, Zor stared at the planet below, his pride shattered. The emergency council meeting was going worse than Zor expected. You lost 17 vessels and over 2,000 personnel to a level 2 species. Councillor Drev's voice was ice. Yes, Councillor, Zor said, standing before the intimidating semicircle of Galactic Security Council members. They showed unprecedented adaptation. We. Spare us, snapped Councillor Vex. You escalated without proper data. Now they possess our tech. Zor tried to explain. There was no indication. Your job is to predict, Councillor Tarn thundered, all 6 appendages slamming the table. You acted rashly, Commander, Vex added. And now we face a potential new threat we barely understand. Zor swallowed hard. With respect, they are not a level 2 species. Not anymore. Silence followed. Then what are they? Drev asked quietly. Zor looked down. A mistake we won't survive twice. Their analytical abilities and caution, neither of which you seem to possess. Zor swallowed hard, fully aware that his career was in ruins. But that concern now felt trivial compared to the threat looming over the entire Galactic Alliance. Councillors, he began, voice steady despite the storm inside him, I accept full responsibility for my actions. But I must emphasize, this species, these humans, possess a quality we have never encountered. Their ability to reverse engineer our technology in days instead of decades. It suggests nothing, Councillor Dra cut in sharply, her voice like a blade. Except your incompetence. You failed to maintain operational security. You misjudged a threat. And now, you return with excuses instead of solutions. Captain Mira, silent until now, took a step forward. If I may, Councillors, our data shows the humans were already tracking our observation ships before we initiated any active tests. They had contingency plans in place. Sophisticated ones. No level 2 species should have been capable of such preparation. A tense silence followed as the council exchanged wary glances. Elaborate, Counselor Vex finally said. Their response was rapid and coordinated, Mira explained. Too effective for a species unfamiliar with our systems. Their scientific countermeasures weren't just fast, they were calculated. We now believe they may have been observing us before we even noticed them. Impossible, Counselor Tarn scoffed. Their technology can't even track objects outside their own solar system. Science Officer Jax, present as a technical witness, cleared his throat nervously. That's what we believed as well, Counselor. But the evidence contradicts it. They were hiding their true capabilities. The moment our actions turned hostile, they unveiled technologies we didn't detect in any initial scans. What are you implying, officer? Counselor LRA asked, her voice, calm but sharpened. I'm suggesting the humans deliberately concealed their advancement. That they misled our sensors to appear less capable than they truly are. The chamber erupted in murmurs until High Counselor Drav raised a hand for silence. These are serious claims, he said slowly. And they go against centuries of our data. Do you have any proof? Before Jax could answer, the council chamber's emergency alert blared, bathing the room in red light. What now? Drav demanded. A fleet officer burst through the doors, visibly rattled. Counselors, we've detected unauthorized vessels entering the Proxima system. Proxima? Counselor Vex repeated, rising. That's barely 2 light-years from this facility. What kind of vessels? The officer turned directly to Commander Zor, his face a mix of disbelief and accusation. They're human, sir. On the bridge of the HSV Retribution, Admiral Tess Reeves stood tall as her ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The alien-derived propulsion system purred steadily, proof of just how far humanity had come in only half a year. Status report, she ordered calmly. All systems nominal, said Commander Alvarez from Tactical. Stealth systems are fully engaged. So far, they haven't detected our fleet's true size. And the others? The Phoenix, Challenger, and Discovery report full readiness. All weapons are online. Alien tech has been fully integrated, and improved. Reeves allowed herself the faintest smile. When the aliens had assaulted Earth, unleashing disasters, cutting communications, probing weaknesses, they had assumed humanity was unprepared. But humanity had been waiting for that day for generations. Open a channel to all ships, Reeves said. Once the link was live, her voice echoed across the fleet. This is Admiral Reeves. Today, we do more than cross into another star system. Today, we take a stand, for Earth. We will show them that humanity is not a testing ground for alien science experiments. We are not prey. We are not subjects. We are a force to be reckoned with. She paused, eyes scanning her crew, the finest from every nation on Earth, unified by purpose. Our mission is to secure the alien outpost. Recover intelligence. And send a clear message, humanity will not be toyed with. Negotiations may come later, but today, we strike first. She ended the transmission and turned to Captain Leo Torres. Deploy multispectrum jammers. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. On Outpost Proxima, Commander Zor was unraveling. Just days earlier, he'd been reassigned to the station in disgrace, awaiting court-martial. Now, he faced the unthinkable, the humans were here. How? He gasped. They didn't have faster-than-light travel. They do now, Lieutenant Plex replied coldly. They must have reverse-engineered it from the ships we left behind. That's impossible, Zor snapped. Even with the hardware, the theoretical framework would take decades to understand. And yet, Plex interrupted, they're here. Jamming our comms. Undetected until they arrived. Using stealth tech derived from our own systems. An explosion rocked the station. Report. Zor barked. The station AI answered in its unsettling calm, unknown weapon impact. Shield integrity at 47%. Hull breaches on multiple levels. Unknown weapon. Zor repeated. We catalogued all their armaments. Sir, an officer called out, incoming transmission from the human fleet. Put it through. The screen flared to life. Admiral Tess Reeves appeared, composed and confident. Her eyes locked onto Zor's. This is Admiral Reeves of the human space vessel Retribution. Your station is surrounded. Your defenses are compromised. You have 5 minutes to surrender, or be destroyed. The screen went dark. Zor stared. They're bluffing, he muttered. For ships can't take this facility. Another impact threw them to the floor. Shield integrity at 12%, the AI announced. Catastrophic failure imminent. I don't think they're bluffing, Plex said softly. Zor took a shaky breath. Open a channel. Tell them, we surrender. 2 cycles later, Commander Zor was a prisoner, something no alien assessment officer had ever been before. The cell was comfortable, eerily so. Environmental systems tailored to his species' biology. That, more than anything, unnerved him. The door opened. Admiral Reeves entered, flanked by a human man in diplomatic attire. Commander Zor, she greeted. I trust you're comfortable. For a prisoner, he replied stiffly. Why haven't you executed me? Most species would demand blood for an invasion. We're not most species, Reeves said evenly. We're scientists. Explorers. Warriors, yes. But above all, we're curious. Curious? Yes. We want to know why your people tested us with disasters and disease. Why your Galactic Council operates the way it does. We want answers. You think I'll betray my people? No, Reeves said. I think you'll cooperate, because you're starting to realize that your council was wrong. That humanity isn't what you thought. Zor narrowed his 4 eyes. What do you want? The man stepped forward. Commander, I'm Dr. James Warren. Diplomatic envoy for Earth. We offer you asylum in exchange for cooperation. We don't want conquest, we want understanding. We want peace. But peace from a position of strength. And if I refuse? Then you stay here, Reeves said. While we act anyway. We've already extracted your data. We know where your homeworld is. How your council functions. And now we have the tools to move among your stars. You're bluffing, Zor said, but without conviction. Just like we couldn't reverse engineer your drives in 6 months. Reeves replied. Or crack your shields. Or find your outpost. Silence. What makes you different? Zor asked finally. Why can you do this? Warren smiled. Necessity. And imagination. Our history is full of threats. Mostly from ourselves. We've had to adapt, or die. And we imagined you long before you arrived. In stories, in warnings, in training. You weren't a surprise. You were a confirmation. When you tested us, Reeves added, you revealed your weaknesses. Not ours. Zor sat back, stunned. Everything, the protocols, the threat levels, the assumptions, they were all broken by these humans. The council won't negotiate with you, he said weakly. They'll treat you as a threat. Maybe, Warren said. But they should ask themselves, can they afford not to? Zor looked at the 2 humans again. Not as primitives. Not even as enemies. But as something new. Something unprecedented. I will help you, he said finally. Not to betray my people, but because I believe they need to understand what you are. Reeves nodded. We prefer the term partners, Commander. And we look forward to a relationship that doesn't begin with disasters and invasion. As they left, Zor stared out at the stars, a single thought reverberating in his mind. The test had failed. But not for Earth. This time, the humans were bringing the test to the Council.